So let's look at how to prepare for a natural disaster through navigational skills. As always, if you've got any questions during the training sessions or later as they pop up in your mind, just chuck them in the those questions in the comments, and I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. So, map and compass. Don't worry about this. An awful lot of people are unfamiliar with how to use maps and compasses. That's why it's stuck in the training. So if you've got loads of questions, just ask. If you don't get it the first time around, just look at the video again, or just keep on asking me questions so that the penny just comes through it. It takes a little bit of time. A number of people takes 2 or 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times to kind of like for it to make a lot of sense. So just be patient as you work your way through. If you've got sort of map and compass experience already, then that's cool. And if you've got any top tips you want to share with everyone else, just chuck them in the comments. So the first bit to look at within your map, you'll see various maps around the world. In the UK, we use OS maps, is probably the most famous and most useful ones. From that, the key bit to understand is the key, which is the symbols. So just get a familiarity with the symbols on the map, just so you know what they all mean. They're normally located along the corners, and just have a little scan through those so you make sense what all those random little symbols mean. The next bit is when you're using map is to orientate that map to what's going on around you. So if you're looking around and you're seeing a hedge line or a fence line or a hill or sort of various sort of buildings and features, you can orientate your map to the world around you. So just basically look around where you are now, where you're standing on the map, and then just spin the map around so that the map is aligned to what's going on. And just make sure you're holding it the right way around. I know that seems a bit daft, but it's something that's really easy to do and to try and make no sense of it whatsoever. Equally, use a compass. And if you can, the easiest way to orientate a map is literally to go to the north element of the map, which is the red bit on your compass, and then orientate that map so that the up and down blue arrows, blue lines, which are north and south, are aligned to the red arrow. As you can see here on the diagram, you've got the north and south lines just here, you've got the west and east lines just here, and what we're trying to do is to get this red part of the arrow of the compass here to be orientated, and that just basically means orientated to north, which then means that when you're looking around and to do that you just spin yourself around as you're standing around and trying to see what's going on, you can actually see what's happening around you, then is translated back onto the map. The next bit is grid references. These you probably heard the word or maybe not. Nothing hugely to be scared about these things. It's just basically trying to find out which one of these blue boxes you're actually referring to. And they come in different levels. So 4-figure grid references basically mean there's just 4 numbers, 6-figure, 6 numbers, and 8 figures, 8 numbers. It's basically how accurate you are with that box. So typically on most maps, or on OS maps for example, a 4-figure grid reference will get you to within 1 of the kilometre boxes, and a 6-figure will then into 100 meters, and then an 8-figure down to a 10 meter box. And that's basically what it is in terms of finding exactly where you are. And the way they work is, and the best way to remember, is along the corridor and then up the stairs. So that's along the corridor and up the stairs. And so this example here is that we're going along the corridor here to 23 and up to 65, and that gives us the grid reference 23, 65. So it's along the corridor and then up. So 23, 65 is 23 to 65. Okay, so if we're trying to get to this corner here, we'd be going along to 24 and then up to 66, and that gives us 24, 66. That's easy. That's it. There's nothing more complicated to grid references than that. That is how to find where you are, or someone gives you a grid reference, and how you find it on a map. It's just as simple as that. The next bit is picture the terrain. So this is kind of linked a little bit to the orientating the map and trying to see what's going on around you. So you've got the map and you've got it vaguely orientated, or you've got it orientated to what's going on around you, and then you're trying to work out, right, okay, what's actually around me? So on the map you'll also see a pile of orange lines all over the place, what that basically means, they're contour lines. So if you see a pile of orange lines and they're all bunched together, it probably means something quite steep like this, whereas if they're kind of like they're spread out, it probably means it's a bit more flat like this. And basically from that you can start picturing and start visualizing what's on the map, and then on what's going on around you. And then as you get a bit more experience with this, you can start actually picturing what the terrain will look like by just looking at the 2D map. It's really, really helpful. Equally, you can get loads of software, even Google Maps. Stick the contour session on it and it'll help you just picture this. There's loads of other things, other bits of software free, Google Earth, things like that to help you just picture the terrain, and from that you can work out, right, okay, where's the high ground, and that's where it comes in really useful in terms of, you know, where's a good place to kind of perhaps set up a plan B place or a plan C, but we'll come on that a little bit later. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. Right, just to nail home the grid referencing bit now, we will go for and try and work out where this FB here, which stands for footbridge, where is that? Now this is I'm looking for a 6-figure grid reference here, so that means it's going to be 3 across and it's going to be 3 up, instead of 2 across and 2 up, which we had before. So if you're working that out, so hopefully you're coming along here, so you're going from 12 to 13, it's not into 14, so it's 13 something, and then you start breaking this down, so that's going to be about 5, that's going to be about 7, so that's about 8, so this is 13, 8 along, and then we're going up, and we're going across from 40, 41, so it's just about 41, so 41, 0, so this would be 13, 8, 41, 0. Boom. So if you got that right, well done you. The next one, this little Stonehenge type figure here. So what's this? So we're going along, and you've probably worked it out now. So you're hitting 12, you're not quite at 13. So that's about 5, so that's about 3-ish there. So that's 12, 5, so 1, 2, 5. And then we're going up, and we're going to 41, 42, not 43. That's about 5, that's about 3, that's about 2. 2 or 3 there, so we're talking about 12, 12, 3 and 42, 3. So the grid reference be 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. That's it. And now you've just nailed 6-figure grid references. And from that, you know what? That's as much as you probably need when you're doing much planning. Within that box, you can almost shout. If someone's walking or gives you a grid reference and you get to the 6-figure, you can probably shout and hear somebody. So that's probably good enough, to be honest. Okay, one last one to prove the point. Where's this phone box? Let's do it really quite quickly. So this is going to be 14, 2, and then moving up with 41, 4. So that's 4, 1, 2, sorry, 1, 4, 2, 4, 1, 4. Does that kind of make sense? Hopefully. Okay, that's great. Now let's look at the compass, the compass itself. So there's loads of different compasses. Some of them are, you might just have just the compass itself. But what's a bit more useful, especially when using map, is what they call a silver compass, because it gives you a little bit more information to try and help you navigate. So breaking it all down on the compass itself, the different component parts. This is the compass itself. So this needle here is what spins around. And the north bit is in the red on a silver compass, and that will be magnetic north. There's a thing about kind of like the orientation of true north and the map north by the year it was made, and magnetic north. A bit more complicated. Happy to answer questions on those as they arise, but for now let's just take that as just north. And then also around here you've got the bearings. This dial here around the top, it spins. To help you work out what's going on and how to align, and there's a little video coming on now to show you how to do it, and then there's an arrow on it as well to help you work out what the direction is. Some of those arrows are big and some of them are small, but effectively that's just the arrow just coming up straight here. Quite often they got like a little sticker on them or something like that to help you see it when it's a little bit darker to see, and then you've got various bits of lines that hopefully you can use then to kind of align with grid lines, and that's basically it. There's nothing more to a compass than that. So now we're going to just watch this very brief video on how to use a compass. There's loads of videos out there on YouTube. If it still doesn't make 100% sense afterwards, just let me know and I can just talk you through it in slower time. So here we go.
If you want to bring the compass into play, and you're going to set up the compass so that the edge here goes from where you are to where you want to be, and make sure that these lines here are actually pointing toward your destination, so you're sure to be traveling in the right direction. And once you have this set up here, you're going to go ahead and take the compass dial and spin it so that these orienteering lines within the dial line up with the orienteering lines or the grid on the map. Make sure it all stays lined up. And then once those are lined up, the orienteering lines are lined up, you'll have your actual bearing here at the top of the compass, and that in this situation it means we're going to be traveling north-northeast. Once you have found your bearing on the compass, you're going to want to turn your body and the compass so that the magnetic needle lines up with the orienteering arrow on the compass. This will have the compass pointing in the direction that you want to travel. It's a good idea to pick an object in your line of sight and then walk toward that. Once you get there, it's not a bad idea to repeat the first few steps to make sure that you're staying on course.
So we've just been talking about how to use a compass, and effectively what we've been doing there is learning how to put the information on the map onto the compass. And that's what we're doing by placing the compass on the map and spinning the dial, and following those instructions. You're effectively transferring the information from the map onto the compass. Right, now it's about using how the compass is trying to give information from the compass to you, so you know which way it's going on. Now, the important thing to remember from here is that you're going from A to B. So you're essentially, if you're trying to get up to here, you're going to have to do some form of compass route to here, and then up to here. If you put and try to extend it all the way to here, you're going to find yourself walking in a straight line all the way to all of this, and potentially you've no idea what's on here, and this is actually the route you want to follow. So you just have to insert and repeat the exercise a couple of times. So how do you do that? Once you've got the information being transferred across and you've spun the dial in the right place, it's worth having a remember what it is. So say, for example, it comes up as 139 or something like that on the compass, where it's lined up on the top. Just remember what that was. That's called the bearing, and so you know what bearing you're walking on. And then all you then do, as was mentioned in the video, is you spin yourself around so that the needle here, the red needle, not the white part of the needle, the red needle, which is the north bit, spins around by you spinning and goes in this orientation arrow here. And once you've got that, you can then look at this arrow here and then follow it, because you've now transferred the information from the map to the compass by spinning this here, and then you transferred the information from the compass to you by spinning the compass itself and you, so that when this arrow is aligned to this arrow, it means this arrow is with the direction you need to walk in. And that's it. That's how to use a compass. It takes a little bit of practice and different conditions. It's also worth, especially while you're learning how to use a map and compass, to just not go further than you can see, because otherwise there's a higher chance of getting lost and stuff like that. Just practice in lots of different places. It's fun. Even really weird things will just dawn on you. You'll walk along a path, you're following your compass, and then you'll perhaps come into a little bit of a junction where there's a path going in one way, another way, and remarkably, the compass points at the path that you need to go on. It's just incredible. It's really, really clever. It's really good fun. So yeah, just something to practice. Hopefully that was useful. If you want to come back and have a look at this at a later time, the easiest thing to do is just to click subscribe to make it easier. But that was essentially natural disasters, looking at navigational skills. And now we'll move on to the next session.